Why do modern women say one thing and do something completely opposite? Or say one thing today and have a different story tomorrow? Let's talk about it. Hey, 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 Kharisma here. Welcome back. If you are new around here, hello. Why are modern women so flippant in what they say and what they do and how they just disrupt lives with decisions based on emotions? Today, I'm going to be talking and sharing with you three different stories that you've probably heard about in the news recently. And it's all about modern women who decide, made a decision, based on one thing, and then somehow they change their mind. First story up is Jada Pinkett Smith. Now, I'm sure you heard about her in the last couple of weeks in the news when she broke the story during her tour of her book, Worthy, about her relationship with Will Smith. Now, Jada has since backtracked, not once, but twice. Take a listen to the original story when it broke.
Several years, Jada and Will kept up the appearance of a committed married couple. They even faced a scandal when Jada had what she called an entanglement with a family friend. Neither let the public know they had all.
Wow. Okay, so you heard a couple of weeks ago, Jada said that Will and herself were living apart since 2016. She did like this. We're apart. We live separately. Okay. So this was her first interview with Hoda when she started her tour, the book tour, which is not doing great. I understand that the sales are down for her book, nevertheless. So before I move on to the next iteration of Jada's um, response to this whole relationship, why do you think that Jada decided to share that information at that point? Now that she's on a book tour, she's written this information in her memoir. Why did she not share it before? Some people will say, well, she wasn't ready to share it, so then why the facade? I mean, couples go through ups and downs like anyone else. I mean, celebrities are no different from regular, normal people. Okay, they have to share of up and down. These are people who are in the spotlight, in the limelight, always in the news for something going on, when it's positive or negative. But they decided to live a facade, pretend that they were still together when they weren't. So I think that she probably thought that this now would sort of get townspeople talking about her, talking about her book, if it was something really shocking. I believe that this was a PR stunt. And this PR stunt has backfired because a lot of people were shocked by this revelation and they were kind of taken aback because of all throughout the years that she and Will were together over these last 7 years, they appeared to be a regular happy couple, not a couple on the brink of divorce, not on paper, according to her, but a couple who are trying to figure it out, as she said, but pretended that everything was hunky dory. So pay attention. Jada said that they had a divorce, but not on paper. So wasn't an official divorce, and that they were living separately in separate houses and homes, separate lives. Okay, so let's continue to the second iteration of what Jada had to say.
Action of was it the right thing to reveal, to talk about everything? Do you feel like you made the right choice?
Absolutely. I think you, at some point, I had to talk Just like we were talking about, I think there's so many of us who, hold so much, specifically women, and feeling like we're going to be criticized, we're going to be
can't say anything.
judged, you can't say anything.
Yeah.
And the beautiful part about it is like this whole journey, as difficult as it's been, has just brought Will and I closer in such an authentic way. Instead of trying to be a thing, it's like just tearing all that down and finding what's true between us.
Wow.
And it's been beautiful. It's been difficult.
It's been difficult.
But beautiful.
Because one thing people were really still concerned about or confused about really was, okay, hang on. They've been divorced in theory, but not on paper.
Yes.
They were not together, but kind of pretended they were together. So I had trouble articulating exactly why that was. So now that you've had more time, why was that?
We really needed time to get solidified because at the end of the day, Will and I love each other. We had to really figure out what we wanted before we went into the world to say what was going on, because we were in such, we were just kind of in this very fragile place. And so now we're just super solid.
Yeah.
And so now I can actually talk about what the journey has been.
So Will talked to the New York Times, or gave a statement, and this is what he says. We'll put it up on the screen. This is from the Times itself. The memoir, Will Smith said in an email, kind of woke him up. She'd lived the life more on the edge than he had realized, and that she is more resilient, clever, and compassionate than he'd understood. And this is the quote. When you've been with someone for more than half your life, he wrote, a sort of an emotional blindness sets in, and all you can do, and you can all too easily lose your sensitivity to their hidden nuances and subtle beauties. It sounds like an emotional blindness. He didn't see you. Is that kind of what it was, that he...
I think, that's so universal in relationships. He didn't see me and I didn't see him, right?
Yeah.
And so we kind of had to go our separate ways to see each other. Because when you're in a relationship and you're kind of just pulling at that person to be something for you, you refuse to see them. And so we had to go our separate ways to really look at ourselves and see the blocks that we had in order to find a way back. It's like we are in a place now that we are in a deep healing space. And we are really concentrating on healing the relationship between us.
So it may not be the divorce on paper anymore?
There's no divorce on paper.
I mean, not on paper. There might not be a divorce in theory anymore?
Yeah, no. We really have been working hard.
Oh.
See?
Okay. Well, I didn't know that. We might.
I was trying to take.
Wait.
Totally missed that on the whole. That's the whole thing.
So wait. Just so I'm 100% clear, you were divorced, not on paper, but now we might be a point where we're back together.
We are working very hard at bringing our relationship together.
Back to a marriage again.
Back to a life partnership. Yes, because here's the thing about husband-wife marriage for me, my healing process. I came into that with very specific ideas, right? Very specific ideas that were blocks to me just seeing Will as who he is. He can't be this perfect, idealized husband.
Yes, of course.
I have to be able to accept him for the human that he is. He accepts me for the human that I am, and we want to love each other there.
Okay, so you might live in the same house and have the same...
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
that's the only part. That's the only part in the special that I felt like got lost.
Well, guess what? It is found. We found it today. We found it today. Jada.
There you have it. Second iteration of her story, of the status of her relationship. So now this iteration is that they're working on their marriage. She seemed to have a problem with the word marriage, on her life partnership with Will. They're working on it, and they probably will live together at some point. You heard it. You've listened to it. I didn't say it. She said it. Okay, so we've gone from they've been separated for 7 years. It's a divorce, but not on paper. It's a divorce in theory. Now we've gone to, Will and I, we're working on it. We needed some time. We're working on it. We may live together. Hold on. Wait for it. There's a third iteration of this. Buckle up. Hold on to your seats.
This is where the media, and I get it. This is where the media wants to clamp on something. Oh, they miss, spin it all around. So yes, we were separated for 7 years until Oscar night.
Oscar night. Really? Wow. Unreal. So now we've gone from we're working on our marriage or life partnership. We're trying to figure things out. We may live together. But now the third iteration of this story is that we were separated until Oscar night. Remember Oscar night? When Will went up on stage and slapped the comedian Chris Rock. You remember that night? When she was taken aback, she looked like she was upset about what Chris Rock had to say about her. And Will took it upon himself to defend his wife and went and slapped Chris Rock. Apparently, that was the night that rekindled everything. So my question to you is, do you believe Jada Pinkett Smith? Do you believe that she's telling the truth? If this was true, why did she not say it initially when she had her first interview with Hoda? Why did she say, we were separated for 7 years, but during the Oscar night, after that traumatic experience, we came back together, we moved in together, we started living together, or whatever. Why these iterations? Can you help me understand that? Because I think that she's just trying to do damage control by saying, oh, well, we were separated until Oscar night, to meet now like, oh, well, we're back together. We're living in the same house. We were separated, which is fine. Normal couples go through this. It's fine. Nobody's judging that. My problem with this whole thing is Jada coming out and saying one story. First of all, living a lie, pretending something that is not. Then another story, a second iteration. And now we have a third iteration. So my question to you is, do you believe her? Do you believe that this is true? Or do you believe that Jada is doing damage control? That this is all a PR move to sort of regain trust of the public? Because a lot of people were disappointed. And I guess she wasn't expecting that when she first came out with her first iteration of her life partnership status. I'd love to hear from you. Let me know what you think. If you believe her or not, you think this is a PR stunt, I want to hear from you. Moving on to another story, modern woman saying one thing, doing another, not taking full responsibility for her actions. This is Samantha Lee, who was married to Gibson. What's his name? Tyrese Gibson. Apparently now she's gone on a podcast and she's talking about her marriage, about her divorce, and how she's having regret.
How did you know that divorce was the right option for you in your relationship?
So first off, what I want to say in general, we know that women file for divorce more often than not. I think a lot of times we do it out of hurt, out of anger, unforgiveness. And you covered this with Dr. Spirit, which shout out to you, sis. I love
Shout out to Dr. Spirit.
But it's a lot of unforgiveness, and that unforgiveness, if it's left unforgiven, turns into bitterness, and that bitterness can build a fence, and that fence becomes very hard to feel when you build that wall up. And I think that, of course, I won't go into specifics about what happened or why it happened. But I will say that it's very important for you to seek wise counsel. I've had a therapist for a very long time. So loved ones, people that support you, you want to make sure that you are involving in that decision making. And you have to really decide and make a very calculated decision based upon your belief systems, based upon who you're speaking to, your wise counsel, like giving them the information and then making the best decision. I think that we do take divorce very casually. And I'll admit, I probably looked at it a little less intensely as I should have. That's me looking back on it. Because I would never tell, I work with women. I would never tell a woman to walk through that in the same frame of mind I was in when I did it.
And when you say that, but what frame of mind was that? What do you mean by that in particular?
I was very, very hurt. I was very angry. And I remember like when I made like the decision, I was like hysterically crying on the phone with my attorney. That was not the person I should have been on the phone with when, like, that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, I was hysterically crying. And I was not in any position to make that decision. I was extremely emotionally intoxicated. We can be intoxicated with our emotions. And I'm very much emotionally led. I feel very strongly. I'm just that kind of person, very passionate. But I would never tell somebody to make that decision when they're that emotional. But of course, I wasn't talking to someone that genuinely would be for marriage, or for reconciliation. And that's not no slight to my,
no, it's
the current friends.
It has nothing. There's no slight to that. Not the friends, but I was on the phone with my attorney.
Yeah.
So it was something that was being said to me that hurt me at that time. And that, so at that time when I was on the phone and I made that decision, I was livid. I was emotional. I was hysterical. And so if anything, if I could take anything from that and advise somebody else, because I don't want families to be torn apart.
Yeah.
It would be that if you're that hurt and you're like that emotional about someone, that's not a lack of love. Like the opposite of love is not hate. It's indifference. It's void of love, void of feelings. And so if I'm that emotional and I'm that hurt and I'm like on that level where I'm just like, I can't stop thinking and I'm just obsessing over why I am hurt. If it's misguided and misdirected, it can go in a bad direction. And so I think that with that being said, I didn't know that at the time.
Yeah.
And I made a decision like, well, I'm so angry. I'm so hurt. And, this is, and I'm just like, forget it, like, never mind. Like, I need to be done.
Before we continue, I just want to point out here that women tend to make emotional decisions or decisions based on emotions. And this is why how many good men are hurt by this. She made an emotional decision or a decision based on her emotions when she's all hyped up. She's emotionally intoxicated. And to end her marriage for whatever reason, she and Tyrese were married for, I believe, 5 years. They got married in 2017 and she filed for divorce. And do you believe that she's taking accountability? Because she's saying that she had friends in her ear who weren't pro-marriage. In other words, she was listening to whomever she was complaining to about Tyrese. And these individuals were telling her, girl, why don't you leave him? Why are you putting up with that? I could just imagine hearing them, what they would be saying to her. And I don't know, and I'm not sure if she's really taking accountability. I know she's talking about she listened to these friends, but at the end of the day, you're the one who made that decision. Whether or not you receive bad advice, you follow that advice. At the end of the day, it's up to you. The buck stops with you. You're the one who pulled the trigger on the marriage. As far as my understanding is that Tyrese wasn't abusive. He didn't cheat on her. Yes, they had their ups and downs like any normal couple, but her friends or whoever, and she decided to take the advice to and leave because this is what happens. Unless it's for a valid reason outside of infidelity or some kind of physical abuse or other types of abuse, modern women today are easily ready to throw in the towel and walk away, especially when they marry a high profile individual because they know they want to get the bag. They have a young child together and they know that they're going to take him to court. By the way, they signed a prenup and she was trying to break it. And as you know, as usual, they come into the relationship. Oh, I'm good to sign the prenup. But as soon as they want to walk away for whatever reason, they want to break that prenup because they want more money. So she is demanding that she be paid $20,000 per month for a 5-year-old child. What does a 5-year-old need $20,000? Why? She's making quite a bit of money. She has her own show. She has her own income, but yet she wants to take him to the cleaners and get $20,000 a month for a 5-year-old. Help me to understand this craziness. So now she's here talking about she was emotionally intoxicated and she was led astray by the people in her ears. But let's continue.
With this is horrible, you just ruminating on all the negative things and not focused on any of the positive things. I posted a reel, and I mean this. I really mean this. There was a guy who was talking about that before he decided to marry his wife, he had said or had told his wife that he needed to choose the people that would speak to her in her most emotional moments. And it was people that would be for the relationship.
Right.
And I know a lot of people had different kind of like comments about the person and everything like that. But the message of what he was saying for me resounds true because the people I had in my ear at the time were not for that.
Let me ask you this, because I think that's such a good point. Like when you're even in that spot when you're emotional,
Yes.
you're in the pit of your relationship.
Yes.
It's so important to make sure you have people who are pro-marriage, pro-relationship, pro your current relationship
100%.
to be able to help, as much as possible,
100%.
make the best decision to keep the marriage going.
Yeah.
When everybody may not have access to that counsel. So let me ask you this. If we can go back and if I were able somehow to insulate you with a pro-marriage, pro-relationship community, do you think you still would have actually gone through a divorce?
Not at that time.
Okay.
I don't know what would have happened. Oh, I've never said this publicly.
No, this is what we do.
This is initiated exclusive, baby.
Delano, make sure you zoom in on this one, okay?
Yeah. It gets deep.
Actually, no. I want to deny myself. I want to deniability. Yeah, no, the truth about the matter is that if I had different people in my ear at that time, I would not have made that decision. No.
Wow.
I wouldn't. And that's the truth.
Still not taking accountability. Still blaming people in your ear.
I try my very best at this point in my life to be what I didn't have in that moment. Because I think that women like, I'm an extremely emotional person. People that know me know that about me. I'm the kind of person that, like, okay, I feel so strong, and I can ruminate. I can get so lost in my thoughts. I know a lot of women are like that. Like, you don't have a certain person in your life to check you and say, sis, what about this? What about this? What about these strengths? What about what he's not doing? Like those types of things. That can get you thinking about the positive aspects of this person that you may not be thinking about when you're upset. You're only thinking about what you're mad about. You're not thinking about all the other positive aspects of this person. And so in those moments, you need somebody to be the person for that person.
Yeah.
In those moments.
So, assuming that, this person was open to it, are you now in the spirit of potentially even being able to rekindle a relationship, like rekindle that relationship? Is your spirit in that place, or could it ever go back to that place?
Oh my gosh, she is asking me this. Can we get an edit?
Is that a hard question?
It is. It's loaded because of the fact that there's been so much that's happened. Like there's been so much that's occurred. Okay. He's my daughter's father. So
what do you think about that?
I would say this. I would say that if we were both going to show up and we were both going to fight for it equally and sacrifice equally.
Interesting.
Like, things that I needed and, things that, he needed. I wasn't perfect. Come on.
Yeah.
Your girl ain't perfect. So I would say that if we were both willing to fight and we were both willing to do certain things, then yes.
There you have it. She's saying that if they were both equally ready to fight and equally ready to sacrifice, she would want to restore her marriage. That's great that you want to restore your marriage, but shouldn't you have thought about that while you were in it? Instead of filing for divorce, you could have taken time apart to think about it, to calm down before you actually file and went through with a divorce. Now that you're recognizing that he's the father of your child, now you know that. Wasn't he the father of your child when you decided to file for a divorce? Wasn't he? But no, you know that you were emotionally intoxicated. There's something called emotional intelligence. And yes, we women are emotional. We are led mainly by emotions. But when you understand that when your emotions take hold of you, you don't operate with emotionally, intelligently, I should say, then shouldn't it be something that you should work on before pulling the gun, before it's too late? And now you would be consider reconciling with Tyrese after you divorce him and want $20,000 a month in child support? Really? Now, let's hear what Tyrese had to say, his response to her interview and to her being open to reconciling. To listen, let's hear what he has to say.
All right. Hold on. Look, man, I was not going to respond to this video of my ex that's now gone viral. She is loving it. Congratulations, you went viral again over something else that you said because you're trying to build up your YouTube page and get your followers up. Listen, man, listen. If you had people in your ear that influenced you into leaving your husband and your 1-year-old child, your innocent 1-year-old child. We both were divorcee kids, grew up in toxic environments, torn in between our old family, new family, stepfather, stepmother. That's a life that we both lived. And you packed up a 1-year-old, put a COVID mask on top of the Ring cameras, and I was literally in an airplane on my way home to fight for my marriage. and my family. You're heartless. None of your friends recognize you. This is all about money. If you had friends in your ear, you're lying, you're gaslighting, you're playing. The only person that was in your ear was your mama. Her name is Patricia Randolph. You didn't have people in your ear. The amount of people that was supposedly in your ear, you also had a whole lot of people like Aventer Gray, Taffy Dollar, Creflo Dollar's wife, who married us. You had a whole lot of people in your ear telling you that you're about to do something stupid, impulsive, and y'all are actually not going through anything that would make you want to leave your husband. Let's go even further. When Aventer Gray and Pastor John Gray were having their own marital issues at the time, you arranged a therapy session with Aventer Gray at our house. And when she walked out of her therapy session, she walked into the foyer where the Bumblebee is, and there was 50 boxes with like 7 or 8 people there packing up all the shit to leave the house. And I was in an airplane on my way home to try and fight and save our marriage.
Wow.
So if you had people in your ear at the time, they must be still in your ear, because you're still trying to get $20,000 a month for a 5-year-old. You make $160,000 a year on your own. This is all a game. You're clout chasing. You're something that I don't even know. A simple woman, not into materialistic things, don't care about fame and mansions and popularity. You're everything that you told me and all of your friends and loved ones that you wasn't. If you wanted to be famous, boo-boo, that's all you had to say. You didn't have to play this game that you wasn't. Now you out here playing on single mothers and their emotions, playing on women that are actually in abusive relationships and fucked up marriages that are toxic and dark and dysfunctional. That's not what that was. You think I would have a song entitled "I Don't Think You Ever Loved Me" if I didn't really feel that way? You think I would have a song out called "Love Transaction" if I didn't realize that it was never love, it was just a transaction? This shit is about money. You've hired 3 law firms trying to fucking suck me dry. I'm approaching $1 million in legal fees, and we had a prenup. You already tried to ask me to come back. You already tried to reconcile. I told you I was in a relationship with Zelly, and I was not willing to go and break this off or cut this woman off because you decided to wake up on a Wednesday and come back and play in the sandbox. Everything about the way you left me was heartless. It was evil. You never considered me, your marriage, and let alone your innocent 1-year-old child. She had to celebrate her 2nd birthday apart.
Wow.
And if you really are really suddenly caring about the effects that you've had on me and your family, why don't you sit these fucking lawyers off of me? Call your lawyers right now and tell them that everything that you're still trying to get right now, you don't want it no more. $20,000 a month for a child? Our prenup says no alimony. Our prenup said everything that the prenup said. You're trying to crack the prenup, and it's been 3 years of it. I should have never hired a fucking attorney. I had a prenup. Everything that I was supposed to give you in the prenup, I gave it to you. You want more. And it's been 3 years. I've moved on. I'm with Zelly. You moved on. I don't even want to tell niggas the first nigga you started dating when we broke up, because you're going to go viral from that. If I were to tell niggas who you started dating as soon as we broke up, you would go viral from that. All you want is attention. You want Facebook followers. You want Instagram followers. You're trying to be a life coach, and you're trying to get niggas to drink the Kool-Aid. You fucking with a real one right here. Everybody can see through your bullshit. I may be alpha. I may be loud. I may appear to be a narcissist, as some niggas would say in the comments. Girl, you was good to leave that nigga. He's a narcissist. No, she's a fucking narcissist. Not only is she a narcissist, but she's a sociopath as well. And what is a sociopath? Someone who will maliciously and vindictively do some shit, fuck over you, hurt you, be made aware of the fact that they inflicted trauma and pain on you, and not even call you and text you to say they sorry. Did you think about the effects that it was going to have on me or our innocent child when you left me the way you did? Did you think about anything? No, it's all about Samantha. So now, go ahead and chase whatever career you're trying to chase. Go ahead and go viral. Go ahead and keep doing your goofy ass podcast and Miracle Mondays and whatever the fuck else you're trying to build. Over here, I don't want no one to confuse me releasing songs the way Adele released songs about her ex-husband, the way Jasmine Sullivan and Mary J. Blige release songs about their exes when they get cheated on, lied, get fucked over, when they go through painful relationships that come to an end. I don't want no one to confuse me releasing songs, singing about how I feel about Samantha with confusing me wanting this woman back. If I wanted her back, I would have got her back. I don't want Sam. She may be saying that she was thinking about, no. If you had people in your ear when you left me, those same people are in your ear 3 years later because the fucking lawyers are still on my back every day. Go sell this shit to somebody else. Look at every interview I've done, from Sway in the Morning to the Breakfast Club to everything that I've been posting and everything that I've been saying. And if you don't like me, nigga, I don't like you. I don't need none of you women in my comments saying they like me. I don't care to be liked. I got my heart broke. I was married. I was with this woman for 5 years. I never cheated. I got more access to pussy than most niggas I know.
True.
I was a good man, a good husband, and very, very focused on my family and my children. And the $2,500 or $2,600 that I was giving Samantha, since she decided to leave me, I was giving her that for 2 years straight without a court order. Find another nigga who decided to leave your husband without a court order. Find somebody else that's going to cut a check for $2,600 without the judge making a judgment for you to do so. I'll always take care of my kids. She's trying to turn a prenup into alimony, which she ain't getting. She's
This video is cutting out there. But there you have it. You've got the gist of it. Obviously, he's hurt. Obviously, he didn't want to end the marriage. He was, like he said, he was on a plane coming back to continue to work on his marriage, to fight for his marriage. But you see, there's a lot of contradictions in what she said and what he's verifying actually did happen. He's saying, yes, she had someone, friends in her ear, but it was actually her mother that was in her ear. She said she didn't have anyone to tell her that was pro-marriage, giving her advice. But yet, Creflo Dollar, who's a pastor, his wife, and other people who that they've seen about the marriage and had counseling with, telling her that she was making a mistake. So this woman is on this podcast lying through her teeth. This is what I'm saying. Women say one thing and do another. She's portraying that, oh, poor me. I didn't have anyone to guide me. All the people in my ears were telling me to leave him. Yet, that is not true. She signed a prenup. Yet, she's trying to break the prenup so that she can get alimony. $20,000 a month for a 5-year-old? Really? She's making good income, over 6 figures a year. But yet, she's trying to milk him for the last 3 years. Trying to break the prenup, an agreement that she signed on to before they got married. Now she wants more money. And he's paid almost $1 million in legal costs because of her. Help me to help, for this to make sense to me. Help me understand this. I know a lot of men, this is not uncommon, but when does it end? When does it end when a woman stops trying to hurt the man that she's with or the father of her children? When is it going to end? It's like she's saying she made this decision based on emotions. Well, she continues to go after him, try to hurt him, try to get more money from him. When is it going to end? It's like I find that modern women are so vindictive, revengeful, no kind of, compassion in their hearts for their partner. Help me to understand this. What do you think? Do you think that she's being genuine in this interview that she's given? Do you think that she's clout chasing according to Tyrese? I think she is. He said that she tried to get back with him and he said no. She's trying to break up his current relationship. He's moved on. He's not going to go back to her. She's hurt him. I'm sure that he played his part in the demise of this relationship. Of course, it takes two to tango. But at the end of the day, it seems to me, based on what she said and what he's saying, is that she threw in the towel, in her own words, based on how she was emotionally intoxicated and listening to people. Now she wants to go back. Girl, bye. And finally, our final story, where modern women, always, in this case, rule by emotions. Saying they want one thing and saying another. They get what they want and then they don't want it. Classical modern woman. Now, this story is about a Gen Z woman who is crying on the internet about having to go to work 9 to 5. It's too much. Take a listen.
I know I'm probably just being so dramatic and annoying, but this is my first job, my first 9 to 5 job after college, and I'm in person, and I'm commuting in the city, and it takes me fucking forever to get there. There's no way I'm gonna be able to afford living in the city right now, so that's off the table. Fucking duh! If I was able to walk to work, and it'd be fine, but I'm not. So it literally takes me, I leave here, I get on the train at 7:30, and I don't get home till 6:15 earliest, and then I don't have time to do anything. I want to shower, eat my dinner, and go to sleep. I don't have time or energy to cook my dinner either. I don't have energy to work out. That's out the window. I'm so upset. Oh my God. Nothing to do with my job at all, but just the 9 to 5 schedule in general is crazy. Being in the office 9 to 5, if it was remote, you get off at 5 and you're home and everything's fine. But I'm not home. It takes me long to get home, and people that drive to the office, you don't get off at 5, and I know it could be worse. I know I could be working longer, but I literally get off, it's pitch black. I don't have energy. How do you have friends? How do you have time to meet a guy? I don't know. How do you have time for dating? I don't have time for anything, and I'm so stressed out, and I'm also getting my period, so that's why I'm all emotional. But am I so dramatic? It's fine.
Unreal. She's whining and crying about going to a 9 to 5 job. Oh my God, I don't have time. How do I meet a guy? I'm gonna get home. I don't even have time or energy to cook. Oh my God. Really? Wake up to the real world. This is what grown-ups do. This is what adults do. They go to work 9 to 5 or whatever the schedule is. If you don't have a car, you take public transit. You do whatever it takes to get to work. I remember my very first job. It took me an hour and a half each way to get to work. And I would even get to work early, half an hour early. So that was an additional 2 hours on top of that, right? My day was long, but I was excited. Get in the real world after studying. I mean, I never stopped studying because I was still studying when I was working. So I was working a full-time job and studying. And I studied for many, many years. So what is your problem? You have to get up, leave the house at 7:30, take a train or bus or whatever to get to your job, And then she's, oh, it's so long, it's so difficult. If I was home, I'll be off right at 5. But the days are so long. The day is dark. Da 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 da. It's like these women, they want to be independent. They want to compete with men, but yet they whine and cry about reality. This is the real world. If you married someone who is rich and famous, there'll still be expectations. So grow up. Welcome to the real world. Stop talking about what you want, and then when you get it, you cry about what you wanted all along, and then you cry and complain how hard it is. Like, where are these young people, these Gen Z? Like, what is this world coming to? I mean, I talk about this all the time on my show, but it's like they're so weak. They don't have any drive, no responsibility, no accountability. It's like they want everything given to them for free without work, without effort. And she will want to be paid without working for it, without adding value and contributing to the world and then making a difference in the world and the lives of others. It's so disheartening to listen to these Gen Z and these young people whine and complain about their life when there's people in this world, and I'm sure that she knows, who have a harder time, who don't have a job, no place to live, nothing to eat. And if they have children, finding it tough to make ends meet, to put food on the table for their family, to keep a roof over their head. Yet she's complaining that she needs to travel to go to work, leave the house at 7:30. Oh my God, it's so long. It takes me so long. Then when I come home, I can't even work out. I don't even have time to cook. I'm so tired. I don't have energy. Take some vitamins. Get to bed early. Forget about dating. Focus on your career right now until you can handle it. You can handle working in the real world. Okay? Grow up. And that's all I have to say about that. So, if you think that these Gen Zs are just whiners and complainers, let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think about Jada Pinkett, her 3 different versions of the story, changing her mind, lying to people. I want to hear from you. And what do you think about Samantha Lee coming out with this story that she had people in her ear that told her to divorce Tyrese, and now is open and she regrets divorcing him. I want to hear from you. Let me know in the comments below whether you're watching this on YouTube or listening to this podcast on any of the podcast platforms. I want to hear from you. And until next time, remember, take care and bye for now.